Days of Our Lives spoilers. Chad DiMera unveils a startling revelation. Leo experienced an emergency situation, while Paulina received devastating news. Meanwhile, Eric found himself in a panic over his lost wedding ring. Greetings to all Days of Our Lives fans. Don't forget to subscribe for the latest updates. Days of Our Lives spoilers. Chad DiMera shares the shocking reveal. Days of Our Lives spoilers report that Chad DiMera can't believe the surprising news about his late woman. Lately, during a trip to Montana to track down the killer, Clyde Weston revealed that he no way killed Chad's woman, Abigail Devereaux. Of course, the companion has numerous questions for the crook, but leave that to the police commissioner to CAF the recently captured felonious. Latterly, the single father takes the news to Julie Williams for advice. And word peregrination presto. Jack Devereaux returns to Salem to find out what's going on. Will he baffle Sweats to probe the cemetery remains? Then's what we know so far on the NBC Peacock exclusive. Days of Our Lives spoilers. Chad DiMera tells Julie Williams big news. Days of Our Lives spoilers indicate that Chad DiMera shares stunning information with Julie Williams. He got further than he bargained for when he traveled to Montana to help track down Clyde Weston. Clyde admitted that he no way killed Abigail Devereaux. Of course, this shocked Chad. He set up her in a pool of blood after being picked. How could his woman still be alive on Days of Our Lives? Well, the ignominiouster. Wilhelm Rolf could have revivified her. But where has she been these once couple of times? This week on Days of Our Lives, Chad tells Julie what he knows. Will they decide to disinter Abigail's body in the Salem cemetery? That's one way to see for sure if she's the bone in the fancy pall. But what will they tell the children? They can't get their expedients up until they know for sure. Days of Our Lives spoilers. Rafe interrogates Clyde. Will he slip about Abby? Days of Our Lives spoilers report that Police Commissioner Rafe Hernandez grills Clyde Weston. He's glad that Detective Harris Michaels was suitable to detect the Statesville escapee. After all, the crook is responsible for medicine trafficking in Salem and a slew of other crimes, including the murder of Abigail Devereaux. Does Clyde tell the top Bobby everything he knows? He could keep the information close to his vest until Chad DiMera finds his woman. But he could use it as influence in his sentencing. However, he shouldn't be serving time for her death if the slick Southerner didn't kill Abby. So why did Clyde keep it secret all this time on Days of Our Lives? Days of Our Lives suckers hope that Clyde wasn't lying under constraint when Chad had a gun refocused at him in Montana. Will Rafe get helpful information from the attorney? Find out this week on the Peacock Sudzer when he questions Clyde. What does the Commish learn? Days appearances and goings. Chad's FIL Jack Devereaux returns. Days of Our Lives appearances and goings discover that Jack Devereaux, Matthew Ashford, returns to Salem. Does Chad call and tell him about Abigail? The grieving men need answers. But does Jack misbehave with Chad and Julie's plans? Will he fight the inhumation? Spoilers allude that Jack pushes back. But why? Further, Days sources allude that J.J. Devereaux will also return to his birthplace. Still, there's no news about when he'll trip home. Of course, he'll want to learn further about his aged family's status. It could be an awful family reunion for the Devereaux family. Stay tuned to Days of Our Lives this week to see Chad DiMera deliver the shocking news to Julie Williams that Abigail Devereaux could still be alive and well. Will Rafe Hernandez get answers from Clyde? Days of Our Lives recapitulate Wednesday, June 12th. Leo's exigency, Paulina's terrible news, Eric's wedding ring. Days of Our Lives spoilers recap for Wednesday, June 12th, reveals Thatter. Mark Green was out for a run and asked Leo Stark for a favor in the city forecourt. Since Mark forgot his water bottle, he asked if he could have Leo's glass of water on the table. Leo agreed and sounded relatively interested in shirtless Mark as he revealed that water on his casket while gulping it down. After Leo mentioned that he wanted to put himself back out there after a bifurcation, He asked if Mark wanted to get regaled eventually. Mark was flattered, but he admitted he wasn't gay and eventually took off. Leo sounded surprised to have gotten that wrong and wound up in Marlena Evans' office latterly for an exigency session. Although Leo claimed to suppose he was fabulous, he also admitted his precariousness and suggested he was miserable at most of the time. Leo felt unlovable and prayed Marlena to be his therapist, so Marlena agreed to help him with further sessions. That lifted Leo's spirits and left him enthused they'd be a great platoon. Johnny DeMura also stopped by Marlena's office at one point and came clean about his job offer in Los Angeles. So Marlena pushed him to be honest with Chanel DeMura about it soon. At the DeMura Manse on Wednesday's day's occasion, E.J. DeMura exulted to Jude DeMura, aka Jude Brady, about a negative composition in The Spectator regarding Paulina Price. When Chanel caught E.J. principally celebrating Paulina's downfall, she called him out. E.J. acted like he was simply outraged on behalf of Chanel and his future grandchild due to the radiation exposure. Chanel claimed everything was fine with the baby's test results so far, but she had a follow-up appointment moment. E.J. refocused out that there were still options if effects didn't go well at that appointment, but Chanel snapped that she was keeping this baby. Subsequently, on Wednesday's day's occasion, Chanel met up with Johnny at the sanitarium and briefly complained about E.J.'s guest. Still, Chanel acted like it wasn't worth getting worried over and suggested Johnny should let it go too. Johnny mentioned having commodity he wanted to talk to Chanel about, but they were intruded by her. Mark Green's appearance, since he was filling in for Kayla Johnson. Chanel asked if Green was related to Felicity Green, so he admitted that was his family and said she talked about Chanel all the time. After Green examined Chanel, he suggested everything looked good. They would have to stay for the coming round of test results to be sure, but Green sounded auspicious about everything. Onster. Green handed over his card. Chanel and Johnny realized he participated a name with her. Mark Green from ER. After Johnny was alone with Chanel again, she pushed him to get back to what he wanted to tell her before. Johnny asked how Chanel would feel about leaving Salem, so she looked taken suddenly. At home on Wednesday's day's occasion, Paulina had agony related to her radiation. Abe Carver quizzed Paulina about her recreating dream where she was freakishly altitudinous and spooking the city. Although Abe wanted to take Paulina for a visit with Marlena, Paulina didn't need a shrink to tell her that she was feeling shamefaced about putting Chanel, her future baby, and others at threat. Abe ultimately got an unsettling phone call and gave Paulina updates on someone filing a solicitation to recall her as Salem's mayor. Once Paulina and Abe did some digging to find out who was responsible, Paulina wasn't surprised by the malefactor. Back with EJ, he got good news from Reba over the phone and celebrated his solicitation moving forward. Coming on Wednesday's days of our live show, Roman Brady prompted Eric Brady to get down from the pain of his apartment and move back to his room above the cantina for a while. Eric decided that was a good plan and said Roman had given him another idea. Since Eric was ready to move on, he wound up at the DeMura Manse and asked EG to help him get a divorce from Sloan Peterson. EJ agreed to serve as Eric's counsel and refocused out there was a way around Sloan's absence. All Eric had to do was put a notice in the Spectator once a week for many weeks, and if he still didn't hear from Sloan, he could move forward with divorce proceedings. Eric also had to prove he'd made a reasonable trouble to track Sloan down, but EJ didn't suppose that it'd be a problem since the Bobbies had an APB out on her. Once Eric met back over with Roman at the cantina latterly, he took off his marriage ring. Days of Our Lives spoilers say Eric will keep trying to pick up the pieces of his fractured life, so we'll bring you more prognostications on his challenges along the way. Thanks for watching these videos. Please hit the subscribe button for more updated news.